Now we're going to talk about consecutive numbers. That's one popular way to have word problems on the TSI apparently, because I saw this in some practice. So consecutive numbers are numbers that are in order: 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 21, 22, 23. So just as long as they're in order, and I'm just doing groups of 3, it could be 4 or 2 or whatever. The way to model these is call your first number that you don't know. It can be x, or you could use n, all right? So if x was 4, how do I number? I add 1 to it to get 5. But since I don't know what x is, I just add 1. And then for the number after that, I add 1 to that, which combines with that 1, and I get 2. So here it says, the sum of 3 consecutive numbers is the same as, and I should just say 108. What is the lowest number? Well, you've got the first number, second number is x plus 1. The third number is x plus 2. Equals 108, because same as, that's equal. Combine my like terms, which are my x's. There's nothing in front of the parentheses, so I don't have to worry about distributive property. And I get 3x plus 3 is 108. Subtract 3 from both sides. 3x equals 105. And let's go ahead and do some good old-fashioned line division. 3 goes into 10 3 times. And the reason I'm modeling the long division is you won't have a calculator, so you need to learn how to do this if you forgot. So my answer is x is 35. All right. The product of two numbers, I'm going to make this a little bit easier. We're going to say 7 for this example, all right? Now you can probably figure this out, but I'm just trying to illustrate and have the numbers be somewhat normal. The product of two consecutive numbers is 72. What are the two consecutive numbers? So you go x times x plus 1 equals 72. Now, honestly, I think if you had this problem, you would just be going through your multiple choice. If they said, oh, what are the numbers? You just go through the multiple choice and multiply. So if they had 5 there, you go, okay, 5 times 6. And you say, oh, that doesn't work. But let's say what they're more likely to ask is how can you model it with an equation, which is here. So you might see something like this as an option, or they could even distribute this x. So you get x times x is x squared. X times 1x times 1 is just x. And you could even see it like this. I'm going to subtract 72 from both sides. So you might see something like that. They could ask you what the factored form is, and you could base on it's x plus or minus something. And the way you know to factor, I'll just do it very quickly right here, is I look at this, and that tells me if my signs are the same or different. All right? So I'm going to take 72 here. And the difference has to be a plus 1. So when I subtract, I have to get, well, when I put these two factors together, it has to be plus 1. So what are the factors to 72? 2 times 36, 3 times, I guess, 24, 4 times 18, 5 doesn't work, 6 times 12, 7 doesn't work, 8 works, believe it or not. 8 times 9, all right? Now, one of these has to be positive and one has to be negative because I'm trying to get negative 72. And when I put them together, I need to get a positive. This doesn't work. That's not going to get me 1. But this will. If I go 8 minus 9 plus a negative 9, that gets me negative 1. But I want plus 1. So it's negative 8 plus 9. So my factors, x minus 8 and x plus 9 equals 0. If you needed to solve that, you go x minus 8 equals 0, x equals 8, or x plus 9 equals 0, x equals negative 9. All right? So they could be asking a lot of different things about this. For evens and odds, it's really similar. So even integers are like 2, 4, 6, 8. Odd integers, 3, 5, 7, 9. So you have your first integer. To get from 3 to 5, you have to add 2. So that's what you have to remember. Okay? And so if you're doing this, the sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers, your first number is x, your second number is x plus 2, and your third number is x plus, you need to go up another 2, so this is actually going to be 4, is 219. So I combine my like terms. 3x plus 6 equals 219, minus 6 minus 6. 3x is 213. Do some good old-fashioned long division. Have a calculator. 7, 21, bring down the 3, 1. And voila, 71 is the smallest, and that means there's 73 and 75. 75 has to be the answer. Now, the product of two consecutive odd numbers, I'm just going to go ahead and model this. I'm going to change the number so it's a little bit easier. So you would have x, and the next consecutive odd would be x plus 2 is 143. Then you distribute that x onto both of these. X squared, x times 2 is 2x. You might be seeing something like this, or you might even see this. They could ask you to factor it. I happen to know that the only things that multiply to make 143 are 11 and 13. You could end up doing the the quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And we'll stop there.